Hi guys, my name's Lacey Wilcox. I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. My topic today that I'm going to talk about recruiting is how to be a human, right? So authenticity, but also relationship building. And the reason I chose this, you guys, is because that's not a natural thing of mine. I feel like I've had to work very hard on my own self to learn to relationship build and like keep that at the forefront of my own mind and be very others focused versus my own. I'm a physical therapist by day. I've been through Plexus. I've been able to kind of retire from my physical therapy job and be home with my kids. But I am very goal focused. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I was like going to be a PT for life. Hopefully maybe someday open my own clinic and do all the things. And probably like many of you, this beautiful business kind of came in front of me and I wasn't expecting it or looking for it, but we have such a beautiful thing. How can we not do it, right? And so I feel like when I started, our team went very fast. We were like Emerald in like 9 or 10 months, right? So I'm not going to lie, I didn't do a ton of reach outs in the beginning because I didn't need to. I was posting and I did have some of those people coming to me. I did a few, but I really had to learn how to keep others' needs in the forefront of my mind and not just like wanting the carrot that's dangled, right? Like I said, I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm very like goal focused. I like the trips. I like the incentives. I like the prizes. I will go for those, even though knowing I'm in this for the long game, but I love all that stuff. And so I have had to work really hard on just remembering to have that servant mindset and to keep being others focused and keeping their needs in front of my own needs. So one thing that I've really had to learn early on was this is a relationship business, you guys. You guys have heard that probably a million times, right? But you have to build the trust of your people for them to buy from you. And you guys have probably all heard this quote that they're not buying your products, they're buying you. Like they love what you do in your lifestyle. They relate to maybe that you have kids or your job or whatever else you share about. And so they relate to that. And so you build their trust that way, right? So you're adding value to them through what you're sharing and maybe recommending things. I also always remember, I don't remember where I heard this early on, but people remember how you make them feel, right? They're not going to remember the nitty-gritty details about, what's in BioCleanse or like stuff like that, but they're going to remember when you told them that, hey, I think you'd be really great at this because you're such a hard worker and, you have all these great, lists their qualities that you see in them, right? We have to be honest with people and tell them why we think that they would be great at this business when we're recruiting them specifically, especially for the business. So that's my number one thing. It's a relationship business. Be a human. Don't be weird. Don't be robotic. We all have a little system that we might follow. I use scripts too, you guys, but I always tweak them. You have to make it fit the person and you have to make it sound like you, right? I am not a hey girl messenger. I'm kind of to the point. And, a lot of times too, this is another thing I've kind of had to work on too with that whole relationship building, but just saying, hey, I know we haven't connected on here a lot and we don't really know each other that well, but I found this really awesome business opportunity and I'll tell a little bit more about the business and like the benefits of it or the health side of it and say, I think you'd really be awesome at this. Like, can we chat about it? So just being very open and honest, like it's okay to just message right away about Plexus, but just be very honest that, hey, I know we haven't connected on here a lot. But I found this and I really love it and I wanted to share it with you kind of thing. So the other thing I've really had to learn with recruiting is take a little time before you send those messages and go to their profile and just look at what's happening in their life, right? Because how can you connect with someone when you don't really know what's going on with them? It also might save you some embarrassment or just feeling bad if like their dog died that day. So you might feel kind of like, ooh, that wasn't very sympathetic of me. So just do a little research, like go to their profile, look at what they've been up to. And it makes it a lot easier also when you're messaging to say something like, hey, I just saw you got back from a trip from a trip in Yellowstone. Like your pictures were beautiful. Like, you know, relate to them in that way, or say how, hey, maybe you have a question for them. Like, hey, where did you guys go? Kind of start, like, make it a conversation. It doesn't have to be this robotic thing, right? So just make it a conversation. Maybe they're celebrating something. Maybe they just had a baby, things like that. I think it's such a great way to like start that conversation with a potential without sounding very salesy and just business focused and business minded. And then I kind of touched on this in the beginning, but probably the most important thing is just keeping that service mindset in the front of your mind. Like remembering that you want to lead them well through their journey and you want to build their trust, and you're not in this for you. Like, we need to ask really good questions to hear their pain point, to know how we can help them, right? So we need to ask good questions in the beginning so that we know that when they're 30 days into their journey and they're not feeling very good because they've hit a wall of detox and don't really know what that means, that we can remind them, hey, you told me that you wanted to lose 25 pounds and that you were having trouble with X, Y, and Z. And I really feel like if you give it another 30 days, you're going to start to see breakthroughs. And just so you can coach them through that a little bit. But to lead people well, we have to keep them on the forefront of our mind, right? That service mindset, being very others focused. So listen to what they need, and that allows you to cast that vision of what they're going to feel like in 60, 90, 120 days, right? Cast that vision to them. Or if it's a business ask you're doing, cast that vision of where they could be in 3 months with their business. They could be a Fast Start Gold or Senior Gold and making X amount of dollars per month, or paying for hockey camps and all the kid activities and things like that. So I think we have to ask good questions to be able to cast that vision for them, to lead them well, whether it's with the products or the business. And then also just reminding them, like, we want to help them be the best version of themselves, right? So if we don't know what they want, it's really hard for us to have them picture what that could be, right? If somebody comes to me for, I want to sleep better and I want energy, but I'm saying, hey, you could lose 20 pounds, then that might not be what they're interested in, right? So just keeping their needs at the forefront of your mind. And like I said, for me as an Enneagram 3, I feel like I've really had to just remember that, keep that in the forefront of my mind, is be others focused and not necessarily always just, oh, I need my 3 people this month, or you're going for that carrot that's dangling in front of you. But my call to action for you today is I want you to send 10 relationship building messages. So not necessarily anything about Plexus, but just something that connects you to somebody. Maybe you saw that an old high school classmate had a baby. Connect and ask about, I hope everything's going okay. I hope you're feeling well. Just connection messages. I think that's so important, especially connecting with your non-Plexus people that you have on social. Just to build up that relationship building. And again, it's not something that comes natural to me either. So if you struggle with it, don't feel bad. But honestly, guys, that's okay. Use your strengths. It's okay to be not always lovey-dovey on people, I guess is what I'm saying. The last thing I was going to say is just, it's okay to get to the point and say, hey, I'm going to be totally honest with why I'm messaging you. It's okay to send those messages every once in a while. But we know this business is a relationship business. At some point, we have to build that relationship and get to know them. So, like I said, call to action, send your 10 relationship building messages. And thanks for listening, and I hope this helps.